I'm joined this morning with my friend, Congressman Greg Steube from the great state of Florida. And I want to talk with you, Greg, this morning about the Confucius Institutes. I know Florida's been a leader in shutting those down. I think people need to know about this, and you've really been involved in it. So won't you talk a little bit about why it's important to get these off our college campuses?
Yeah, so these institutes, these Confucius Institutes, have infiltrated our university systems. And not only have they infiltrated our university systems under, learning different things from the Chinese Communist Party or Chinese language or that sort of thing, but it's propaganda for the Chinese Communist Party to be able to infiltrate these different university systems. In Florida, we've had several professors at the University of Central Florida that have been fired because they were either relaying information back to the Chinese Communist Party or they were being paid by the Chinese Communist Party as it relates to research or information or trade secrets and that sort of thing. So Florida's taken a real proactive step. A couple of years ago, we've also had what's called the Moffitt Cancer Center, which receives state funding. When I was in the state legislature, millions of dollars are appropriated, tax dollars are appropriated for research, for cancer research. Well, the CEO and the leadership of the Moffitt Cancer Center had their own accounts in China and were being paid by the Chinese Communist Party to give them information on the cancer research that they were doing, research that taxpayers in Florida were paying for. And so I don't obviously think that that's the type of thing that should be going on, not just in our country, but in the state of Florida.
I don't think a lot of people fully understand the threat that we're facing right now with China. And through the Confucius Institutes and a lot of the professors, you mentioned a couple of professors that were fired at the University of Central Florida, there is a tremendous amount of research that goes on college campuses. And the Chinese are literally using these professors and even students to a certain extent to gather information about our advances in technology, which they are then stealing. Well, Florida's taken the lead on it. Other states haven't done near as much, but you're introducing legislation to address that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my bill similarly would any university in the country that is taking funding from the Chinese Communist Party, they wouldn't be able to do that. It would prohibit that type of activity from going on. And if a university did partake in that activity and was accepting either money from the Chinese Communist Party or employees of the university was taking money from the Chinese Communist Party, they would no longer get federal funding at the federal level to that college or university, which is big. There's tons of different levels of money that comes from the federal government to these different educational institutions. So it would really take a real strong step to say if you're going to be engaged in this type of activity, you're not going to get federal funding. So hopefully this type of bill would move. Unfortunately, under the Democrats, you're not seeing any movement as it relates to the Chinese Communist Party or China in general. And that's unfortunate because regardless of your political affiliation, you should be united in protecting our citizens in our country, especially against foreign threats.
China is a real threat, not only to our national security, but to our economy, but also to our way of life. I think you're absolutely right. Appreciate you being on with me today, Greg. Great job.
Yep, thanks for the opportunity.